look at me and say, I had things to do. What followed was a series of calls to our office demanding to know why they didn't get it.
What happened? On Monday morning, he logs into our team stand-up meeting with his camera on, and it is not the same guy.
This is The Bad Hire, the show with the best stories about the worst employees.
We fired him, of course.
People are crazy.
It's like an HR nightmare.
Right? One bad hire stole all of it.
Crazy stuff. She got what she deserved.
Oh. I'm your host, Ken Monroe, and every week we dive into real-life stories from the wild world of work and what can happen when the wrong person gets the job. These stories aren't just crazy, they're cautionary tales about lessons learned the hard way. Let's get started. Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Bad Hire, the show where the best stories about the worst employees happens. Welcome Emma and Nathan.
Welcome, everybody.
Nathan again for the second show in a row. Emma in the house.
Yes, I'm here.
We're happy to have you.
She's been carrying the team,
Yeah.
Have
getting us viral everywhere.
slight work, you know.
This is like work.
Yeah.
This is what she like. This is what I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marcus too. Couldn't do it without you.
Everybody say hey to Marcus.
I should pop up on.
Marcus, we've done this 36 times, bro.
Yeah, I wasn't here for like the first.
You know how
Yeah.
you know the story of Marcus and I?
Marcus wasn't here for like
You just
the
walked
first 10
across him into the
episodes.
parking lot,
Yeah.
right?
Marcus
Didn't you
wasn't
guys
here
meet
for
in
like
the
the
parking
first
lot?
10 episodes because we filmed somewhere else.
Really?
First 8 episodes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We had to
26
drive.
episodes. Marcus, don't be taking credit for those first 10. So the story with Marcus and I is I'm sitting in my car in the parking lot and I see this guy walk into our building with a C-stand in his hand and a bag. And I'm like,
He looks legit.
that looks like video equipment.
Yeah. And we were
Like
looking for
rolled
a
up my
video.
window. And I'm sure he probably thought I was crazy. I was like, hey, bro, hey.
Hey, you want a job?
He's like, he looks at me. He's like,
That's
what's
awesome.
going on?
You want some
And I'm
candy?
like, oh, you're terrible. You're terrible. Oh my
I
gosh.
was at the point in my life where people called me to the car. I had gear in my hand, so I was making an assumption. I'm like, oh, he probably curious about what I'm doing. And so I was like, well, why not go to his car, see what he wants to talk about? And so I went there, and I can't remember exactly the first thing he said to me, but I think it was along the lines of, what are you doing? And then I told him, yeah, I was doing something for Northwestern Mutual. I love you guys. And then you're telling me, yeah, man, we've been looking for a guy to do social media. and
It was
shoot a
crazy. I had
podcast."
just
That's awesome.
interviewed like 3 people.
I was that week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he walks across
Yeah,
the park.
man.
And I was like, I think this was like, whatever that is when.
It's a good thing you didn't flip him
Meant to
off or
be.
anything, like when you saw him in the parking lot.
That would be crazy.
That's good. And man, that's awesome. That was great timing. And then we took off from there.
Yeah, it's been really great. Thank
Yeah.
you, Marcus. You're doing a great job. We help build everything. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
hey, you guys know the drill. We dive into the wildest, the weirdest, the most jaw-dropping hiring fails that in offices, job sites, any organizations, nonprofits, heck, even on airplanes, all over the country. And don't forget, we're running a $10,000 contest.
Mhm.
So submit your story at thebadhire.com. I know you have one. Every single HR person,
They all have one.
talent acquisition specialist, recruiter, literally everyone I've ever met. If I say, and business owners too, and even some office managers who run hiring, when I go, oh yeah, we have this podcast called The Bad Hire. It's just for fun.
Mhm.
This is what we do. And they're like, oh yeah, I totally got this.
Yes.
You should hear. They want to tell me a story. And so it's really
fun.
It's really fun. So we hope you'll submit your story. I do want to. We'll give away a briefcase full of cash.
Very fun.
Is it actually going to be a briefcase?
All ones.
Absolutely, we should do it that way,
Wow.
Mr. B style, right?
If it's
Okay.
100, it'll just be like that big. So
Yeah,
like
true.
fill it all.
Right, it's gotta be ones. Maybe 10,000
Yeah.
ones in a briefcase.
That'd be great. All nickels. That'd be great.
But we're absolutely going to do it. We're going to give it away at the end of the first full year of the show,
Mhm.
and then we'll re-up something fun and new after that.
Yeah,
So,
it'd be fun.
all right, here we go. Let me get started. This was a submitted story. So I'm on the management team. Here it is. I'm on the management team at a pretty well-known indoor interactive attraction. They're not going to say the name. And after about a year, I get asked to start conducting interviews for supervisor roles that would be reporting directly to me. We had some solid candidates come through, but one interview with from almost 5 years ago still lives rent-free in my head. The candidate was scheduled for 1 p.m. By 1:45, we still hadn't heard anything. So we tried calling and got no answer. At that point, we assumed he'd just ghosted us, and we moved on with our day. And then they just showed up.
At 1:50?
No
late.
explanation, no apology. And I reluctantly agreed to go ahead and interview them anyway. I have no idea why. But
yeah, I'm surprised.
Did they know it was at 1, or did they think
I
it
don't
was at
know.
2?
They just didn't say.
when I ask about the lateness, okay, here, they look at me and say, I had things to do.
Oh,
I'm a busy man.
of course.
I don't have time for this
My life doesn't
interactive
revolve
indoor
around
activity.
you.
Can you imagine that?
That's
Hey,
crazy.
you were running 45 minutes late to an hour. Everything okay?
I'm busy.
I have things to do, bro. I'm working you in.
I had to go to the bank.
I-
Wow.
Okay, so I had already mentally moved on at that point.
Yeah, that's
But I finished the interview out of professionalism, right? Then their phone rings. They answer it. Excuse themselves.
No, I can talk. I'm good.
Excuse
busy.
themselves and leave me sitting alone
Oh
in
my
the interview
gosh.
room. They
Wow.
come back, and we pick back up. And
This guy's
then
patient.
it happens again. So we did not offer him the job. Shocking.
Yeah.
Like, I know.
Wow.
What followed was a series of calls to our office. This gets me. I just read it in front of this. I was like, what? What followed was a series of calls to our office demanding to know why they didn't get it.
What happened? I nailed that interview.
Mind you, he did not have to accept the interview after he showed up 45 minutes
crazy.
late.
Our general manager eventually got on the phone and told them exactly why.
Yeah, let me tell
Which
you why.
I have to say, I respected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people really do walk into an interview and leave you with absolutely no questions
That's crazy.
about the decision you're going to make. Wasn't a hard decision.
That guy, whoever interviewed him, he's got the patience of a saint.
I was just about to say that, like, calling and demanding why you don't get the job when he didn't even have
you
to
serious?
do the interview with you in the first place because you
Yeah.
showed up so late.
Yeah.
Because he literally said that he was already mentally checked out when the guy showed up. Because he was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll just brush it past me, whatever.
Well, I
He's
mean,
not- he's not
yeah, it's
coming.
like, I'm not going to hire this guy. He just showed up late.
Yeah.
Especially when as soon as you ask, if I asked, hey, you're running late, is everything all right? He's like, oh, I had things to do. I'd have been like, okay, I did too.
Okay, so do I.
And which was,
It's a bad. It's a bad.
So do
Sorry,
I,
just wrap
considering
this-
your interview was 45 minutes ago. So how about you just get up and get on out of here?
Well, it's like imagine.
we'll wrap this up.
I mean, I'm almost surprised. I mean, I guess like he's trying to be professional, but like if he has that behavior during the interview, can you imagine work with somebody like that? Like,
Yeah.
we had a meeting at noon. I think to do.
I think,
Yeah.
here's what I think. I think you should send in your bad interview stories.
Yeah.
Not just your bad hire stories.
we get some of those.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many flame out, absolute train wreck interviews
Yeah.
that would be so funny to like be in the room and be like, what did that dude just say?
Yeah.
I've been in them. I'm just like, what?
Next
You
time
know-
we film, I'm gonna come in late and
You know, my
say I had things to do. Sorry.
My favorite thing would,
I'm
when I ask someone, so tell me, why'd you leave that last job? What was up?
Mhm.
And they get real serious on you and go, it's a lack of integrity of that company.
What does that
It's-
mean? Yeah.
It's like a standard answer. And I'm like,
Interesting. Yeah.
Elaborate more.
was
why
it
don't you?
virtuous enough? I mean, didn't reach your standard
Yeah.
values.
It's kind of a red flag when they talk bad about
It
the
is.
company,
It
anyways.
totally is.
Yeah.
There's so many young people who just moving around in a job. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're young. If you're experimenting, you could say, hey, this wasn't a great fit for the culture. Whatever it was. Was it a right job for me? Unless you're applying for the same exact job.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, but to do, it just seems like, like I'm going to try to position myself as elevated by saying the company wasn't up to my standards. They just didn't have the integrity that, and I hear that. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know. would love to see more hire stories or
Yeah, that's-
more interview stories.
That's insane. I mean, I just can't imagine. I feel like, in interviews, you're trying to be the best version of yourself, obviously. You're trying to be
best. This is the best it's gonna get.
trying to be prompt, trying to be respectful, and so just like to be late is scary anyways. I get anxious to think about just being late to an interview.
Can you imagine the anxiety you would be under, Nathan? I know you. You just
I'll try to be there 55 minutes early. You know what I mean?
Nathan would be so.
Can you imagine, like, if I'm talking to you, I really want this job. Oh, sorry, I gotta take this. My buddy's calling me.
Yeah.
Just give me a minute. He did that twice?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Before we dive back into the chaos on the bad hire, this episode is brought to you by BChex. Hiring shouldn't feel like rolling the dice. Background checks should come with great tech, seamless integration, and customer service that delivers. That's BChex. Lightning fast results, unmatched accuracy, built-in fraud prevention. We help you hire the right people. Now, BChex plugs into over 100 HRIS and ATS systems, so your background checks run smooth, fast, and backed by top-level service. Protect your team, protect your reputation, protect your sanity. Go to bchex.io. That's BChex.io. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
All right, let's go. We got a segment that was that we did. Who did the segment?
Oh, this next clip. Is this Dave? I think we
It's
got a
David
second story
again.
with David.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, and so
Okay, I like David.
And so I interviewed David. I'll just send this to him afterwards. I think I mentioned that I was going to. He's super nice. I added him on LinkedIn, and he's calling in from St. Louis. So here's David.
We had hired a relatively young, not very experienced person for an entry-level position within the organization. I interviewed them. They passed all the, background checks and all that. But it was pretty evident from like the first week that things didn't seem quite great. It wasn't a whoops, we should hire the wrong person, but it was definitely like, let's try to do what we can to help this person along. But despite our efforts, things just weren't clicking with this person. So, we have a kind of a 3-month window of where we can like say, look, this isn't quite working. Let's try to work on some improvement. And I sat down with him, with the head of HR, and talked about what we could do to improve. So he started swearing at us about why our performance information that we were saying was false and the information that we had was fake. Everyone there was against him and my resources were bad. And then I pulled out all the reports that I had and showed him why the reports were right. He took his papers that he had and threw them across the room, stormed toward the door, and I'm like, wait, don't leave. Let's talk about this. Now, in hindsight, I should have asked him to stay. And he turned around, he goes, I don't want to be on a performance improvement plan. If I told you that I had a deadly disease, would that change your perspective? I said, what? What are you talking about? He's like, well, if I shared with you that I have a disease that it's really, that's impacting me and it's impacting my performance, would that change anything? I'm like, you know what? This doesn't change anything at all. Your performance is not great. We're trying to put you on an improvement plan. And so with that, he left the room, slammed the door so hard that it cracked the drywall all the way up to the ceiling. The door closes and he starts screaming at everyone he can see. The police show up. He had threatened to pull out his gun, which he did not have, and shoot people. Definitely not greatest hiring moment with that individual.
Just escalated pretty fast.
Oh my God.
It just got worse and worse.
I love how he was like, he threatened to pull out his gun that he did not have.
Wait.
Do you love David's personality?
Oh, he was super
David
nice.
is like the
Oh my
nicest guy
gosh,
ever.
yeah.
He's
Surrounded by this chaos. No, stay. We can work this out.
I need more Davids in my life.
That is a crazy story.
That is
Yeah.
insane.
What if I told you that I have a terminal disease? Could you keep me
I don't want to be
around?
on a performance improvement plan. If I was deadly ill, would you not put me on it?
He's not even saying.
Because
No,
I
your
can say
performance
I'm,
is bad.
I can say I'm deadly ill.
He's not even saying that he has a deadly disease.
No, he's just saying,
He's
if I
saying,
tell
if I
you
told you, would that change anything?
Hypothetically, if I had.
Because,
There are
because if you
those-
say yes,
There are those
You'd be
moments,
deadly ill.
those moments on the show with people where it's like they kind of come to a crossroads where it's like, okay, maybe you give them the benefit of the doubt, and then they go over the top and they slam the door, curse at everybody, pull out their gun and stuff. It's like, okay, maybe they're past the point of no return. Like I really got to let them go. That's insane. That escalated very quickly.
Wow.
Randall and I were talking this week about, I think it's Zappos, I think is the name of the company. Is that
Like
right?
a shoe company?
The shoe? The shoe?
I don't. Zappos.
Yeah.
Zapier,
I
automation
think it was
company.
Zappos or
Yeah, that's a shoe.
either one. They're known for their culture, right?
Okay.
So maybe someone can.
I think it is. I've heard good
Maybe
things. I think.
somebody can
Yeah.
known for their culture. I think we did, a year or two ago. We were studying some of their culture deck stuff as we were developing our culture deck and thinking about how to communicate it to our employees and stuff. And but he Randall's was reading a book or something. He was talking about them, and he was telling me that at the end of 90 days, because this guy was talking about that 90-day, Dave was talking about the 90-day kind of check-in, that they have a bonus that they will pay you if you resign.
Oh wow.
And then apparently the bonus gets bigger every month for the first several months after that until it gets up to a
Interesting.
certain amount that it's, basically it's like, hey, we'll pay you to say out loud that you've already figured out this isn't a great fit for you.
Interesting.
What we don't want is for you to just kind of
Feel stuck, I guess.
be
or-
mediocre and feel
Yeah.
like I can't leave now to be too early on my resume.
Yeah.
All that kind of, people who are like, this isn't for me, but now I'm kind of stuck here for a bit. I'll spend a year or two. And then,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought, and I think it goes up to, I think he was telling me maybe it went up to like year 3 or something, but I was like, I mean, I bet post year 3 retention is like really, really good. Cause
Yeah.
people have, they've made a financial decision that they could have gotten some quick money just to tap out and say, you know what, wasn't for me. I just
And
thought it was really
Hi-
good.
hiring is so interesting to me because it's like if there's so much figuring out to do, and so it's like once you find somebody that you really, really, really like, you want to keep them. That's golden. But a lot of times
Yeah.
there's that whole figuring out process. Obviously, an interview, but even in those first 3 months, you're like, if this person is really bad in the long term, I'd rather know now in the
Yeah.
first 60, 90 days,
Yeah.
instead of me figuring it out years down the line and
Yeah.
all this damage is done.
A year down the line.
Yeah.
A year. Now I was, I was telling a story the other day about, a bad hire I made, and I actually had a choice between two people, and I came up with some reason why I couldn't hire the most qualified one, right? And it was really stupid what I did, and I hired this other one, right? And it was a complete utter disaster for a year.
Mm.
And the cost of it was millions of dollars because it was the lost, this was a regional manager supposed to run this multi-million-dollar region, and this region didn't grow. In fact, it contracted instead of growing. Just
Yeah.
it was just bad.
So
And
really cost.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I thought, I was analyzing later why I made that decision, and because I followed the other person's career for a while, and she just crushed it in her career, and I was like, I had a chance to hire her, and I didn't.
Dang.
And it was like one of the big, in all the hiring I've ever done, it's probably one of the biggest.
That's hard.
prideful
I mean,
decisions I've ever made.
it's such a big decision at all times, which is why
Yes,
like
and it is the decision.
we
I
kind of
think.
just throw it around these days. You see LinkedIn jobs. There's people hiring, people fire, like leaving jobs. It's like, I guess it's not really even thought about. And especially, we're in the background check industry. Like, it's actually such a big, big piece. Like, if you're going to, like I said, like if you're going to know that this is not a good fit, I'd rather know now because those types of just hiring decisions can make such crazy impacts in companies and organizations.
for sure.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
So it's scary. It's real stuff.
Well, I mean, we're coming up. Did we just do your year?
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
confusing.
So we
'cause
haven't really decided on whether or not you were.
I'm good. I'm just about
So
at 1
jury's
year.
still
So
out,
first I
really.
was like, "Are you talking about me? I don't think I cost. I don't think I cost millions of dollars. I hired the wrong person. We said 1 year. Well, I started 1 year ago, just about today, part time, and I started full time 6
We
weeks after that.
transitioning
So
you out of California.
I
I
have
think.
like 2 start dates almost. I
Yeah.
guess I'm coming up on my
You're
second one.
part-time.
Yeah, so it's been great.
All right, Nathan, you got a story?
Yep.
Let's hear it,
Okay. So I got another software engineer story. So my company hires a software engineer for a fully remote role. The guy crushed every step of the interview. He is smart, articulate, sharp on whiteboard coding challenges, and he accepts the offer. We ship him the equipment, and he sets up all of his accounts. And on Monday morning, He logs into our team stand-up meeting with his camera on, and it is not the same guy. And I don't mean that he's like kind of similar. Maybe the lighting is different. I mean, it's a different human being, different face, different voice, different age. The guy that we interviewed looked maybe 28 years old. The person on the screen on Monday morning was closer to 45. So I messaged my manager on Slack and I asked her, as casual as I can, do you think this is actually him? She says, I think so. I tell her to pull up the interview recording, and we both go look at the same time. The lighting is weird, I guess. And it is absolutely, definitively not the same person. So we pull him into a private Zoom meeting, and my manager asks him directly, are you the same person that we interviewed? There's a long pause, and he says, I'm working with him. The guy that we hired is his cousin. The cousin does the interviews, and then he does the actual work. And then they split the pay, which is crazy.
Well, it sounds like the cousin has got the better part of that deal. I just did the interview, got the job, I get half.
I guess the other guy just has interview anxiety. I don't know. So it turns out this is a known and growing scam. People who specialize in passing technical interviews and then they hand the job off to someone else who actually does the work for a fraction of the salary.
The story you just read.
It's a little bit like
the
that.
Last episode.
Well, the interviewer takes a cut, I guess. So we fired him. We blacklisted the cousin, and we notified the recruiting platform. The whole thing was over in about 6 hours. And the wildest part was that he was apparently pretty competent. He just was not the person that we hired.
That sucks.
I guess
That's a new one.
I guess there's places in which that would work, in which the hiring team was, potentially, far enough away from, physically or, technically far enough away from, the project team where they're never going to be in. He shows up. It's he's handed over, and he just shows up, and everyone doesn't really.
There are some holes in the plan. Like, if they're twins, that could fly.
We did have a story like that once where it was twins.
Twins in
Yeah.
great memory for the stories.
Yeah, I mean, she's digging through all the social clips, and we
It's
hear
my
the
job.
stories. Yeah. But yeah, and also if they were maybe within 2 years of each other's age, it's like I can't imagine there's one guy's 20s, one guy's upper 40s, or whatever it is.
That is very strange.
Some holes
Just
in the
counting
plan.
on what that guy's just counting on, and he probably doesn't know, but he's just counting on. I'm hoping that first meeting I go to, no one I interviewed with is there.
Yeah, I guess so.
You
And you're right. It's like, okay, I'll do the 1 hour interview. You take the full-time job. We'll go 50-50. Like, it's kind of a weird plan.
maybe it's just a cut of the first.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
listen, give
guess
me
so.
$5,000. Give me $5,000 to get
My
you the job.
thing is like, how did they think that was going to work?
I don't know.
Interviewing with one person and then the other person doing the job, knowing that they can
probably
see
could work.
them.
It
That's a growing
probably could
scam.
Work if placement is separated, like, from the interview process.
Yeah.
Like if the hiring manager is not involved in the hiring.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I know some companies are humongous, and so maybe that's
maybe
what
that's
they're
how it works.
counting on.
Maybe,
is,
yeah, that makes sense. That
just
makes
like not
sense.
ever, just kind of slipping in and just not ever being noticed, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess that makes sense. But still, that's like, how long do you think you're gonna get away with that?
Some of these stories are kind of like just different versions of the same plot. That's a new one for me. I've never heard that
Yeah.
yet.
I've never heard that either.
Well, you're right. There seems to be there seems to be this kind of recurring themes of the different types of blow ups. Hey, this guy twice today, I think we heard, or in the last couple of shows, where it starts off like, hey, everything started good for the first 2 weeks. It's like
It's good
everyone
for
can
now.
get good behavior for 2 weeks. I don't know.
We don't have a lot of bad hire stories where it's like, on their 11th year, they turned bad. Like,
Yeah,
it's
every
never
which
a
way you
lot.
get, like, I always call it an OG flame out, where he's just like, I've just had it and blows up,
Yeah.
but the early flame outs,
Mhm.
it really is that kind of rough period in the end.
A little more
I feel like most talent acquisition folks and recruiters are just holding their breath the whole time.
Yeah.
And you got to believe there's like some third party embarrassment too, when you're like somebody you freaking hired.
Yeah.
I remember a story about a girl who. You remember the story with it was a
Yes.
segment where she
I had to-
yes She's like, yep, I remember. It was a segment. I'm trying to remember her name. She was a recruiter. She was so sweet, and she had such patience. And this guy didn't show up,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
then he didn't show up for the
Mhm.
next day, and then he didn't, and then every day she's calling him.
yeah.
I
That's
was like,
right.
hey, are you going to be here today? And finally, he was like, can I just work remote?
Yeah, like we
You
did
know,
not
Oh,
agree to
yeah,
that. That was
yeah, yeah.
Ignacia is her name.
what was her name?
Ignacia, I think she
Yeah.
was in San Francisco.
Yeah. That's her.
Um,
And it was just, I don't know. It's like, this is, that's got to be that third party because you worked hard. You know, the hiring
Yeah,
manager
you're
weighed
vouching
in,
for them.
you know, and
Mhm.
then you're like, yeah, I think she mentioned it as a reason. I remember her as like, there's a little bit of this embarrassment that you just, you know,
Yeah.
somebody you honed in on,
Mhm.
you know, just totally let you down when you did the placement. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Sorry. Here we go, Emma. You ready?
Yes.
Let's
Let me
do it.
make sure my story's pulled up. Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Right. In 2024, a popular U.S. bank fired more than a dozen of its own wealth management employees on the same day, all for the same reason.
Hmm.
The reason, according to official financial industry regulatory authority filings, was, and I'm going to read you the exact language because it's too good to paraphrase, simulation of keyboard activity creating impression of active work.
Pretending to work.
That's the official language
Yeah.
from a regulatory filing.
Mhm.
Translation, they had been pretending to type.
Oh, there you go.
Here's how it works. A lot of companies that monitor remote employees use software that tracks mouse movement and keystrokes. If you're idle too long, it flags you. So naturally, a cottage industry emerged around this, and you can now buy little USB devices on Amazon called mouse jigglers that slowly wiggle your cursor for you to make it look like you're actively working. They're like $10.
Wow.
Several of the sorry, they're like $10 if you care.
Yeah. Here's the link.
Yeah.
No.
Several of the bank's wealth management employees, people responsible for other people's actual retirement savings, apparently bought these, plugged them in, and walked away from their desks for weeks, possibly months.
That's crazy.
Eventually, the security team noticed that the movement pattern looked off. Apparently, the wiggle of a real human hand looks different from the wiggle of a $10 USB stick, and this is evidently a known thing in IT.
Hmm.
The bank filed everything with FINRA, which means these terminations are now part of the official permanent record of the financial industry.
Yeah, that's bad.
Every one
Man.
of those employees now have a regulatory file that says they were fired for simulating work activity.
Wow.
That follows you for the rest of a finance career for $10.
That's crazy.
All that for $10. The wildest part is that if any of them had just occasionally moved the mouse themselves, they probably wouldn't have been caught.
Right.
That's
if
the scary
they-
part.
that
If
requires
they
you to
had
be
walked
there.
away and then walked back to their desk and moved it
Or they
around
can still go-
themselves,
or they
then
could
I mean, still
worked,
go
but-
out to the gym and ride your motorcycle.
Or they,
Yeah.
or they could have just done their job, I guess. That's the scary part. Can you imagine, like, hey, how's my retirement doing? And it's like just being squiggled around. It's like, hey, I kind of need that money. That's the scariest part. This
Yeah.
like, it's not like they're. I
You
mean,
were supposed to be looking at my account and paying attention to me.
yeah, it's not like they're just doing. I don't know, some like
It's
random
crazy how
job.
lazy some people are.
Oh,
Yeah, that's insane. Well, yeah, there's a whole jiggler industry.
It is it's the remote work. I always say there's for remote work to be successful, there's going to be the right person and the right job
Mhm.
aligned. Right? There's certain remote work jobs. There's certain remote work people. Put the two together, and it's really great. And there's a lot of benefits to it. If either one of those isn't great,
Mhm.
right? If you don't have the right person, and clearly these 12 people weren't the right people because, you know, given the freedom of not working in an accountable environment with peers around you and managers and all that,
Yeah,
you decided to buy a $10 jiggler and try to get out of and just not work,
Yeah.
yeah,
you know? And I guess, you know, the appeal of that is too strong. You know, it's like, wow, they would never know.
I
You know,
can't
the
imagine.
technology, here's this. I've had that happen here. It was heartbreaking because it happened once, and I brought a person in and I coached them and loved on them and said, hey man, you know, that can't happen again. I mean,
Yep.
it's a character issue. You know, he was young. He was and smart
Mhm.
and had a lot of upside, and he did just a jiggler, right? And
Mhm.
the software today that's used, we use it, is it's not just for detecting, it's also for safety and security when you in a high secure environment when you move to when you move to certain things. So it can, it can track what you do. It can track if you upload something, the type of websites you go to. It can, we can tag websites as productive, others as not productive. We can keep people off of, sites they shouldn't be on in work time, that type of thing, so there's, and then it looks at your activity like, hey, they were there, they weren't, their computer was dead for 2 hours, and so you can look at it and tell, but the tech is significant and bright, and I'm sure very expensive to build, right? And so the second time this happened with the same person, I think he had built a little app or some type of little macro to switch tabs and move the cursor. So it looked like he was going between his here and here.
I remember you telling me that story.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I, as I said, I was like, do you think really that a macro you could build in 15 minutes is going to, that the system that this company has spent millions of dollars building, and this company has got a valuation of X dollars, it's a very valuable company. Do you think the whole company was going to be undone under your 15-cent, macro? You think it's not going to pick it up. It picked it up instantly, sent an alert.
Yeah.
That, potential, I forget what the alert was, but, I don't, and I hated it, and I think that I think for some people, just the appeal of not working is too strong. And, the idea that they could do that, but yeah, there was a big, when COVID hit, there was a
lot of
surge
non-workers
of jigglers.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it started.
on Amazon.
I mean, I can't imagine. So I work remotely almost all the time, and I can't imagine ever trying to get away with anything. Like, I've got too much on my plate. Because the thing is, like, it's not just the fact of, like, okay, maybe I could, like, sneak in a day off there. Like, even if I ever could, it's like, I got so much to do. I have to, like, show, hey, here's the stuff we've been working on.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the plan on the other side? I guess even when we were talking about people stacking up jobs where, like, they have 2 or 3 full-time jobs, I guess those are just easy jobs. I don't know. But it's like, if your job is worth doing, then you'll actually just do it, and then you'll have stuff to show for it too,
Yeah.
But it just, like, blows my mind. I guess people just think it's like a screensaver. We're like, oh, if their screen's on, then I'm good. So they think it's that simple, but it's like the technology is probably a little bit smarter than that, of like your computer's on or it's off.
Yeah, it's the tech today is, and it's getting better now. It's probably had AI layered all in it, and so it just absolutely connect whether you're working or not working, and so and I'm glad they exist. And we let our team know, and this is what happens, and this is this is on there.
Normal accountability.
Initially it was, I felt I had a problem with it. It feels very Big Brother, but I realized that even here's what happened. That there have been multiple people in an organization that are really good people that just over time got pulled, by distractions and flexibility, and next thing you know, and the amount of time they spent working went from crushing it to just nearly part-time. And it was like a slow boil. It's like, and it wasn't malicious.
It's not like a
It was
drop
just
off.
the loss of discipline and of having to get up, walk through the front doors of a place, have your peers around you, sit at your desk. If you're not there, people notice.
Yeah.
Physically, and so without all of those environmental kind of guardrails, it allows some people to slip, and and I don't necessarily think it was malicious.
Yeah.
And so there were times when we had to, talk to people and say, hey, look what's happened, and look, this happened over time, and show them. And they're like, yeah, and they're like, I don't know what I was thinking. I went shopping in the middle of the day. And I went and got my car cleaned and did this, ran that errand. They see I was gone 5 hours, and I did that 2 days this week, 3 days this year. Like,
Mhm.
And
they don't mean it, and it just happens. It slowly happens, and so sometimes you got to coach them back to.
and then some people put more work into not working than if they would.
Yeah. You know, and then
Like,
there's the absolute, you
let
know,
me just have 4 full-time jobs and just like lie about being on all of them
Yeah.
I
and
know.
like do all this
I
kind
don't
of
know how
stuff.
many times we've like told a story about somebody trying to get around working and
Working.
everything, where I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work.
it's like a not
Just
work
do your
to,
job.
to not work.
Yeah,
Right?
that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, I don't get it. Well, hey, that's it for us today. Thanks for listening to The Bad Hire.
Yeah.
Please subscribe, rate, review, share. We'd love for you to follow us on the show, build up our followers, and
fun.
and don't forget, your story could win $10,000. So at the end of the year, we are going to give away $10,000, and I'm looking forward to doing that. So submit the story. Go to thebadhire.com to submit it. All right, and we certainly appreciate you being here. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.